I'm going to tell you something that might sound dramatic, but I need you to hear it. Your car is the most dangerous place you spend time every single day. More dangerous than your home, more dangerous than the grocery store, more dangerous than walking down the street. And I'm not just talking about accidents. I'm talking about breakdowns on empty roads at night. I'm talking about getting stranded in extreme heat or extreme cold. I'm talking about carjackings. I'm talking about medical emergencies where you're alone and nobody's coming for 20, 30, 40 minutes. I'm talking about natural disasters that hit while you're driving, and suddenly every road is blocked, and every gas station is closed, and your phone has no signal, and you're sitting in a 2-ton metal box with nothing but the clothes on your back. I spent 14 years at the Central Intelligence Agency. During that time, I traveled to places most people will never see on a map. I operated in environments where the infrastructure could fail at any moment, where the power could go out, where the roads could disappear, where help wasn't coming. And one of the most fundamental lessons they drilled into us from day one was this: you are your own first responder. Not the police, not the ambulance, not the fire department. You. Because by the time those people arrive, the situation is already over, for better or for worse. What happens in those first minutes, those first moments of a crisis, is determined entirely by what you have on you and what you know how to do with it. And here's what I've noticed since I retired. The people who are most vulnerable in those first critical minutes are seniors. And I say that with respect. I'm not young myself. But the reality is, as we get older, our ability to improvise in an emergency decreases. Our strength isn't what it used to be. Our reaction time isn't what it used to be. Our eyesight, our mobility, our stamina, all of it changes. And that means we have to compensate. We have to prepare. We have to make sure that when something goes wrong, and something will go wrong, it's just a matter of when. We have what we need within arm's reach. I'm going to share 3 things with you today. 3 items that I keep in my car at all times. 3 items that every person over the age of 60 should have in their vehicle right now. Not in the trunk where you can't reach them. Not in the garage at home where they do you no good. In your car. Accessible. Ready. These aren't expensive. They're not complicated. They're not tactical operator, military-grade special forces nonsense. They're simple, practical items that could genuinely save your life, or the life of someone you love. And after I tell you what they are, I'm going to tell you exactly why each one matters, and exactly how to use them. Because having the right gear means nothing if you don't know what to do with it. Let's get into it. Number 1. A high-quality tactical flashlight. I know what you're thinking. A flashlight. That's your big intelligence community secret. A flashlight. Yes, a flashlight. And before you roll your eyes and scroll to the next video, let me explain why this is the single most important item you can carry in your vehicle, and why the flashlight you're thinking of is not the flashlight I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the little plastic thing you bought at the dollar store that takes 4 AA batteries and puts out about as much light as a birthday candle. I'm talking about a compact, aircraft-grade aluminum tactical flashlight that puts out a minimum of 1,000 lumens. Something you can hold in one hand. Something that's built to survive being dropped, submerged in water, and run over by a truck. Something that has multiple settings: high, low, and strobe. That strobe function is going to become very important in a minute. Here's why this matters. The most dangerous time for seniors on the road is after dark. That's when breakdowns become emergencies. That's when a flat tire on the shoulder of a highway goes from an inconvenience to a life-threatening situation. That's when you're most vulnerable to criminals. And that's when your eyesight, which may already be compromised, fails you completely. A good tactical flashlight changes everything. First, it lets you see. Obvious, I know. But think about what happens when your car breaks down at 9 o'clock at night on a 2-lane road. It's dark. You can't see the engine. You can't see the tire. You can't see the ground around your car. You can't see if there's a ditch, a guardrail, broken glass, or a snake. You're fumbling around in the dark, and every second you spend outside your vehicle on the side of a road at night is a second you're at risk of being hit by another car. A 1,000 lumen flashlight turns that darkness into daylight. You can see everything. You can assess the situation. You can make decisions based on information, not guesswork. Second, it makes you visible. When you're standing on the shoulder of a highway at night, you are invisible to oncoming traffic. They don't see you until they're on top of you, and by then it's too late. A bright flashlight aimed at oncoming traffic doesn't blind them. You point it at the ground in front of you, angled toward traffic, but it alerts them. They see the light, they slow down, they move over. That light is the difference between a driver seeing you from 300 feet away and a driver seeing you from 30 feet away. That's the difference between life and death. I'm not exaggerating. Third, and this is the one nobody thinks about, a tactical flashlight is a self-defense tool. At the agency, we were taught to use everyday objects as force multipliers. A pen, a belt, a rolled-up magazine, and a flashlight. 1,000-lumen strobe aimed directly into someone's eyes at close range is completely disorienting. It causes temporary flash blindness. The person cannot see, they can't track you, they can't grab you. Their hands go up to protect their eyes instinctively, and that gives you time. Time to get back in your car, time to lock the doors, time to drive away. For a senior who doesn't have the physical strength to fight off an attacker, that strobe function is the great equalizer. And there's a fourth use. The aluminum body of a tactical flashlight is essentially a Kubotan, a hard cylindrical striking tool. If someone reaches through your car window, if someone grabs your arm in a parking lot, if someone gets between you and your vehicle, you can strike with that flashlight. You aim for the soft targets, the bridge of the nose, the throat, the temple, the back of the hand. One solid strike with an aircraft-grade aluminum tube, and you've bought yourself enough time to escape. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be fast. You need to be holding something hard and know where to aim it. I keep mine in the center console, not the glove box, not the door pocket. The center console, right next to the gear shift, where I can reach it without thinking. When I get in my car, it's within arm's reach. When I get out of my car at night, it's in my hand. Every single time. This is not paranoia, this is preparation. The same way you put on a seatbelt every time you get in the car. You don't put on a seatbelt because you're planning to crash. You put it on because you understand that crashes happen whether you plan for them or not. I'll tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, retired military, 71 years old. Good health, but not exactly a young man anymore. He was driving home from his daughter's house one evening, about 9:30 at night. Rural road, no streetlights. His tire blew, not a slow leak, a blowout. He pulled onto the shoulder, which was barely a shoulder, more like a strip of gravel next to a ditch. He reached into his center console and grabbed his flashlight. A good one, 1,200 lumens. He turned it on, set it to strobe, and placed it on the roof of his car, facing oncoming traffic. Then he used the steady beam to inspect the tire. Within 2 minutes, a truck coming the other way saw the strobe, slowed down, and pulled over to help. My friend told me later that without that light, he would have been standing in the dark on the side of a road with no visibility, trying to flag down cars that couldn't see him. He said, "That $30 flashlight probably saved my life." He's right. It probably did. The specific flashlight doesn't matter as much as the specifications. Minimum 1,000 lumens, aluminum body, multiple modes including strobe. Rechargeable is preferable, so you're not constantly buying batteries. But if you go with a battery model, keep extra batteries in the console. I check mine once a month. Turn it on, make sure it works, make sure the charge is good. Takes 10 seconds. 10 seconds a month for something that could save your life. That's a good trade. Number 2, a window breaker and seatbelt cutter combo tool. This is the one that scares people, because this is the one that forces you to think about a scenario you never want to think about. Your car goes into water. Your car catches fire. Your car gets hit and the doors won't open and the electronics are dead and the windows won't go down and your seatbelt is jammed and you are trapped inside a vehicle that is rapidly becoming a coffin. It happens more than you think. According to the research, approximately 400 people die in the United States every year in submerged vehicles. 400. Not because the impact killed them, not because the water killed them instantly, because they couldn't get out. They couldn't break the window. They couldn't cut the seatbelt. They were conscious, alive, aware of what was happening, and they could not escape. I want you to think about that for a moment. Think about what those last minutes must feel like. Trapped, water rising, pulling at a seatbelt that won't release, pushing against a window that won't break, knowing that help is minutes away but you have seconds. That is a preventable death. Every single one of those 400 deaths is preventable, with a tool that costs less than $15. And here's something else people don't think about. You don't just need this tool for water submersion. You need it for any situation where you're trapped. Car fires. The car catches fire, the electrical system shorts out, the doors won't unlock, the windows won't go down. You have maybe 60 to 90 seconds before the cabin fills with toxic smoke. You need to be out of that car in under 30 seconds. A window breaker gets you out. Rollover accidents. Your car flips. You're hanging upside down from your seatbelt. Blood is rushing to your head. You're disoriented. You can't find the seatbelt release button because everything is inverted, and your hands are shaking and you can barely see. A seatbelt cutter doesn't require fine motor skills. You grab the tool, hook the belt into the blade, pull. You drop free. Then you break the window and crawl out. Multi-vehicle pileups. Your doors are crushed. The frame is bent. The doors physically cannot open, but the windows are still intact. A window breaker gives you an exit when every door has become a wall. Let me tell you where to keep it. Not in the glove box, not in the trunk, not in the center console under a pile of receipts and napkins. You mount it. Most of these tools come with a mounting bracket or a clip. You mount it on the dashboard, on the center console, on the sun visor, or on the driver's side door panel. Somewhere you can reach it without looking. Somewhere you can grab it when your car is filling with water, and you're panicking, and your hands are shaking, and your brain is screaming. You need to be able to reach that tool by muscle memory, without thinking, without searching, without fumbling. I keep mine clipped to the sun visor on the driver's side. I've kept one there for over 20 years. I've never had to use it on myself, but I used one once to help someone else. I was driving on a back road outside of a town I won't name. Car ahead of me went off the road, hit a culvert, flipped into a drainage canal. Water wasn't deep, maybe 3 or 4 feet, but the car was on its side and the driver's door was submerged. I could see the driver through the windshield. Elderly woman, conscious, terrified, couldn't get out. I grabbed my tool, waded in, broke the passenger side window which was facing up, cut her seatbelt and pulled her out. Whole thing took maybe 90 seconds. Without that tool, I would have been standing on the bank trying to kick in a window with wet shoes while that woman drowned in 4 feet of water. 90 seconds. $15 tool. That's the math. Buy one for every car you own. Buy one for your kids' cars. Buy one for your grandchildren when they start driving, and then show them how to use it. Because having it is only half the equation. The other half is knowing, before the crisis hits, exactly how it works and exactly where it is. Practice reaching for it with your eyes closed. I'm serious. Sit in your car, close your eyes, and reach for the tool. Can you find it? Can you grab it? Can you hold it properly? If you can, good. If you can't, move it somewhere better and practice again. Number 3. A basic medical kit, but not the one you're thinking of. Every car advice article in the world tells you to keep a first aid kit in your car, and most people go buy one of those pre-packaged kits from the auto parts store. The ones in the red nylon pouch with a white cross on it. The ones that contain 47 adhesive bandages, a tiny pair of scissors that couldn't cut wet paper, some antiseptic wipes, and a cold pack. And that's fine. That's great for a paper cut. That's wonderful for a scraped knee at the park. But that kit will not save your life in a serious emergency. It's a feel-good purchase. It makes you feel prepared without actually making you prepared. Here's what I carry instead. And this is based not on what you buy at a store, but on what I learned during field medical training at the agency. We were taught to prepare for the injuries most likely to kill you in the first minutes. Not the injuries that hurt, not the injuries that bleed a little, the injuries that kill. And the number one killer in traumatic injuries is uncontrolled hemorrhage. Bleeding. You can survive a broken bone. You can survive a concussion. You can survive burns and bruises and lacerations. But if you're bleeding from a major artery and you can't stop it, you have minutes, sometimes less than that. So the first thing in my kit is a tourniquet, a real one, a CAT tourniquet, which stands for Combat Application Tourniquet. This is the same tourniquet used by the United States military. It's designed to be applied with one hand, which matters because if your arm is the one that's bleeding, you only have one hand available to apply it. It's a wide strap with a windlass, a twisting mechanism, that allows you to tighten it enough to completely stop arterial blood flow. You apply it above the wound, between the wound and the heart, and you tighten it until the bleeding stops. Is it painful? Extremely. Does it matter? No. Because the alternative is bleeding to death in your car on the side of the road while you wait 15 minutes for an ambulance that might take 20. Let me be very clear about something. 20 years ago, the medical community told civilians not to use tourniquets. They said tourniquets caused tissue damage, nerve damage, limb loss. They said they should only be used by trained professionals as an absolute last resort. That guidance has completely changed. The military's experience in combat over the last 2 decades proved conclusively that tourniquets save lives with minimal complications when applied correctly. The current guidance from emergency medicine is clear. If someone is bleeding severely from a limb, apply a tourniquet. Don't hesitate. Don't try to use direct pressure first and waste 3 minutes while they bleed out. Apply the tourniquet. You can always loosen it later. You can't undie. The second thing in my kit is compressed gauze, specifically hemostatic gauze, which is gauze impregnated with a clotting agent. If the wound is on the torso, the neck, the groin, somewhere you can't apply a tourniquet, you pack the wound with hemostatic gauze and apply direct pressure. The clotting agent accelerates your body's natural clotting process. It's the same technology used on the battlefield. You tear open the package, you stuff the gauze directly into the wound. I know that sounds brutal, but you push it in deep and pack it tight, and then you press hard. You hold that pressure until the bleeding stops or until the paramedics arrive, whichever comes first. The third thing is a chest seal. This is a specialized adhesive patch designed to cover a penetrating chest wound. If someone has a puncture wound to the chest, from an accident, from debris, from a broken rib that's pierced the chest wall, air can enter the chest cavity and collapse the lung. That's called a tension pneumothorax, and it will kill you faster than almost any other survivable injury. A chest seal covers the wound and has a one-way valve that lets air escape from the chest, but doesn't let new air in. You peel it, you stick it over the wound, and you've just bought that person potentially hours of survival time. Without it, they have minutes. The fourth thing is an Israeli bandage, also called an emergency bandage or a pressure dressing. It's an elasticized bandage with a built-in pressure bar that allows you to apply significant pressure to a wound site. It's designed to be applied with one hand. It wraps, it cinches, it holds. It's far more effective than any regular gauze and tape combination because the pressure bar concentrates force directly over the wound. That's my kit. Tourniquet, hemostatic gauze, chest seal, Israeli bandage, 4 items. I also throw in a pair of medical shears and a pair of nitrile gloves. The whole thing fits in a pouch smaller than a paperback book. It costs about $60 to $70 total, and it can handle the injuries that actually kill people. Now here's the critical part. Having this kit means nothing if you don't know how to use it. 0. A tourniquet you don't know how to apply is just a fancy piece of nylon. So here's what I want you to do. Buy the kit. Then go online and watch training videos on how to use each item. There are hundreds of free videos from former military medics and emergency medicine professionals that walk you through each tool step by step. Watch them, then practice. Take the tourniquet out and practice applying it to your own leg. Time yourself. Do it until you can do it in under 30 seconds with your eyes closed. Practice packing gauze into a wound using a rolled-up towel with a hole cut in it. Practice peeling and applying the chest seal. Practice wrapping the Israeli bandage. I'll tell you why this matters so much for seniors specifically. When we're young, our bodies compensate for blood loss more effectively. Our hearts are stronger. Our vascular systems are more resilient. We can lose a significant amount of blood before going into shock. As we age, that tolerance decreases dramatically. An elderly person who loses the same amount of blood as a young person will go into shock faster, lose consciousness sooner, and die more quickly. That means the window for intervention is smaller. The minutes matter more. Every second between the injury and the application of that tourniquet or that pressure dressing is a second closer to a point of no return. I carry this kit not because I expect to need it. I carry it the same way I carry the flashlight and the window breaker. Because the world doesn't ask permission before it throws a crisis at you. It doesn't check your schedule. It doesn't wait until you're ready. It just happens. And when it happens, You either have what you need or you don't. That's the only variable you can control. Closing. Let me bring this all together. 3 items. A tactical flashlight, a window breaker and seatbelt cutter, a real medical kit. Total cost maybe $120. Total space in your car, about the size of a lunchbox. And between those 3 items, you are prepared for the vast majority of emergencies you could face on the road. Darkness. You have the flashlight. Trapped in your vehicle. You have the window breaker. Serious bleeding. You have the tourniquet and the gauze. Those are the big 3. Those are the killers. And now you have an answer for each one. I want to address something directly because I know some of you are thinking it. You're thinking, I've driven for 50 years and I've never needed any of this. Good. I'm glad. I hope you drive for 50 more and never need it. But that logic is the same logic that says, I've never had a house fire, so I don't need a smoke detector. You don't prepare for the things that have already happened. You prepare for the things that haven't happened yet. At the agency, we had a principle. Hope for the best. Plan for the worst. Act on the plan. Every operative who went into the field carried a kit. Not because they planned to get hurt. Not because they expected the worst. But because they understood that the difference between going home and not going home often came down to what was in their pockets when things went sideways. Your car is your vehicle, literally and figuratively. It's how you get to your grandchildren. It's how you get to your doctor. It's how you get to church. It's how you live your life. And your life is worth $120 in 20 minutes of preparation. Do it today, not tomorrow, not this weekend, today. Go buy the flashlight. Go buy the window breaker. Go order the medical kit. Put them in your car. Learn how to use them. And then forget about them. Let them sit there. Let them collect a little dust. Because the day you need them, you won't have time to order them on the internet. You won't have time to run to the store. You'll have time to reach out and grab them. And they'll be there. That's what preparation is. It's not paranoia. It's not fear. It's love. It's saying, I value my life and the lives of the people around me enough to spend an hour getting ready for something I hope never happens. That's not fear, that's wisdom. And wisdom is the one thing that age gives us more of, not less. If this was useful, subscribe. I'll keep sharing what I know. 14 years of intelligence work, distilled into things you can actually use. No clearance required. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. And share this with someone you care about. Someone who drives every day and has nothing in their car but an old umbrella and a handful of fast food napkins. They need to hear this. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next one.